So yes, when you will install the Unity Hub, you will see a screen like this, which will show you the projects that you currently have. And if you haven't installed the Unity editor in it, then it will ask you to install a Unity editor, which will be like about 7 GB. So you have to install that also. I have already installed it here, and so now we will start with the project. All right. So when you click on new project, then you will see multiple options there. There will be 2D, 3D, Universal 2D, Universal 3D. All these options will be there. So I will tell you what it is. If you click on 2D, you will get a Unity editor in which you will basically design any 2D platformer games that you know. Anything like which will be just on X and Y axis. Like it will have only two axes, and for 3D it will be three axes. What is the difference in universal or this all the other options? These are for more complicated or for a more advanced uh, game development. Like they include many high graphic like high rendering performance kind of projects requires these type of templates to be initialized in. So we will be selecting a basic 3D built-in render pipeline. You can name your project here. So I will name it as select your profession and there will be organization. Select your organization here and then uncheck the Unity control, Unity cloud and version controller because that will not be needed right now. Till then, uh, you should have installed VS Code also. It's a very light code editor and it will be helpful in your other programming projects also. So if you install a VS Code, like if you have recently installed VS Code, then you may need some extensions which are required for Unity development. So uh, I will tell you about that. So search for Unity here. Then you will find Unity Unity named extension. So you have to install that. This will be helpful in integration uh, like, of your Unity editor and the VS Code. And then also you have to install the we will be developing in C sharp. So you have to install C sharp dev tools. So search for C sharp dev and then you will see C sharp dev kit. You have to install that also from Microsoft. All right. So yeah, basically that's it. And then we have like started our Unity project. Yes. As you can see, if you have started the project, the screen will be different than mine because I have edited the layout according to my default. So what I will do is right now I will click on default and it will be set to the default like what you currently are having. And now we will go through uh, every of the heading that is given in this editor. So first, let us see what is this hierarchy. But first of all, let us see what is this scene. So if I go into the scene, I can see a grid thing, and there will be a sun here, and there is a video camera kind of thing that is there, which is showing a main camera at the bottom. So this is actually the place where you will be editing, modifying, adding, deleting all of your game objects. anything like your player, your enemy, your map, or anything like that, you will be acting will be placed here and will be modified or will be edited by you in this scene. Next to the scene, you will see a game option. If you click on that, we will come to this later so that explanation will be much more clear. Now, we'll go to the bottom. If you go on to the bottom ribbon, you will see a project and a console. So if you go to project, it will be a kind of folder like a folder list that we have. So which will contain all the packages and all the assets. Assets are the objects. Assets are basically assets that are required in the Unity uh, while making the game. Like if you have a player, then you need the player mesh or player body to be imported here. Like if you have made any gun or any of the game object in Blender, you have to import it into your asset. So I will tell you about this later. So for now, what Unity has did for us is they have created a scene named folder in which there is a sample scene named scene. So this thing has a extension as a scene. So when I click on this sample scene will be loaded. So if I want to, what I will do is right now, I will duplicate this by pressing Command D or Control D if you're using Windows. You will see a new sample sheet it will be created here, which has the name sample sheet 1, and let us rename that. I will rename it as level 1. So when I double click over it, you will see that on the hierarchy, the name has also been replaced with level 1. Actually, what has happened is when I double click over an scene, will be relocated to that scene, and all the and the what hierarchy shows is what all game objects are present on a particular scene. A scene, let me define what is a scene here. So in Unity, there will be multiple levels. There will be a start menu. There will be an end menu. There will be any guide menu. All these options are there. All these menus are there, and they will have their own sections of scene. So like as here I have made a level 1 scene. So we will be creating our level 1 all the game design and all the script part of level 1 in this scene. And if I make it as a like a start screen, a start screen. So I will be making a start UI in this screen. So now let's go into more depth. So what we will do is we will first make a 3D object. So in this hierarchy, if you uh, if you right click, you will see multiple options here. So like there will be 3D object, there will be light, there will be UI, there will be camera. All these options will be there. So we will look into that. First, we will look into 3D. Now, if you press on 3D object, you will see multiple options. You will and do. Now, when you created the cube, you will see there's a cube object in the scene. Like as I have told, all the game objects that you will create will be shown in your screen, and then that you can modify that game object in the scene itself. Now, when I created this game, like if you want to move over in your scene manager, what you have to do is hold on into your right, hold on your right click. When you will see the eye instead of cursor, then you can use WASD or arrow WASD to move within your scene, like you are like basically like you are floating in the scene. Now, what happens is like when I click on a particular game object, like here like clicking on this cube, then I'm able to see a inspector window. Otherwise, if I click on somewhere else, the inspector window will be like empty. So when I click on any game object, there will be an inspector window which will be showing all the properties of that game object. It will include transform. It will include the mesh. It can include anything related to that game. So here it is a cube. So it's showing the transform of the cube, which is actually the position, rotation, and the scale of the cube. Here we are seeing like we have three variables here, which are position, rotation, and scale. So what I will do is I will change the value of position x. So if I'm changing the value of x, as you can see in the grid here, x, y, and z coordinates are given. So it is changing the position of itself according to the value I'm giving in the position field. So this section is for changing the position, rotation, or scale of this. If I there will be some options on the left corner of the scene manager, which are which are the same as move tool, which is actually for changing the position by your hand. There will be a rotation tool, which will be helpful in rotating in all three directions. There is a scale tool, and you can scale your game object also in all three directions. And now, what I will do is let us understand the what are the below properties here. So, uh, first, what I did is I created a cube here in the Unity. So, if I'm able to see a cube, that means it has a mesh onto it. If an object does not have a mesh, that means that you cannot see it in the game. Anything that has a mesh uh, is a game object which is visible by the player. So this cube has a mesh. That's why I'm able to see it. What I will do is if I disable the mesh renderer, and then the cube will be disabled. Still, you will be able to see the grid lines or the corners and edges of the cube in the scene manager here because the cube is existing here, but the mesh is not there. So that the in game you can't see the cube. So this is what mesh render is. And now let us see what other thing is attached here. There is a box collider also attached in the inspector. So what I mean by attach is like there are multiple properties as you can see in the inspector window, which are which I already told like transform, cube, mesh, and all. So these are actually components which are attached to a game object in the Unity. So components are blocks of property which you can define to any game object. Like here here there are uh, four basic components attached to it. Next, we will go to Fox Collider and then we will see what it is. So what Fox Collider is anything which is a collider will add a colliding property to that game object. So that if any other thing is colliding over it, it will basically act as a colliding object. So to show that in action, first I will tell you what this is, Edit Collider. So if you click on Edit Collider, this option, you will be able to see a green colored lines over there, which will show you till what increase this thing like this way. So it will, uh, and then if I increase this like this, and then what I will do if I drop something from top to it, then it will collide over the this over the green four space that you can see over the green top, not on the not on the this white object. If it is exactly matching the white object, it will collide to that object. So we will see something in action now. And first of all, let us see what is a game window. So what I will do is I will open the game window here, and what the game window shows is this main camera. So what is this main camera? So at the starting of the project, when I started the project, we had two of these things already in our Unity editor, which was the main camera and direction light. So without both of these things, if I disable both of these things, then let's see what happens. Okay. So in the game window, there will be say no camera rendering. So what is it like when you play a game? there has to be some scene which like the game, like the player or any game object that is playing that game will be seen. So you want a camera, like a virtual camera, which will be replicating that view over there. Like if this camera is a like if you are a first person player, then this camera will be acting as your eyes, so that everything that is everything that is the game is viewable with respect to the eyes of the player. So let's see, what I will do is I will drag the main camera over here. So if I'm dragging it, you are like you will be able to see the tube that I created. Okay, so this white colored tube, um, you will be able to see it. Uh, yeah. So and now let's come on to the direction light. So what is direction light? Like if I disable the direction light, you can see the lighting effect has been changed a bit. So direction light is nothing. It's just like a acting as a sun in your game. It's basically that, and you can change the property of that over here. You can increase or decrease the density. I will keep one right now, and you can change the color of the intensity. All those things depending on the game that you are in. Maybe the game you are making is working in night or something like that. You don't need to change any position in direction light. Just the angle of the direction light affects. Like it, as you can see, and when I'm changing the direction light direction, the in the game scene, it's like a sun going up and down. Yeah. So basically, it is replicating the sun in the game. Now we will move on to like more advanced. So what I will do here is I will like, I will change the view like this. Uh, if you can see, there are several options in the game. On the top of the game, see, there's a game, there's a display. You don't have to change anything in that. There's a free aspect. So what I suggest is go to the 16 ratio 9 aspect, because that is basically the aspect ratio of what a game is, what generally games are. So select on 16 ratio 9, and the scale should be 1. Yeah. So keep like that, and you can put your hierarchy, drag the hierarchy, and put it over here, so that the space will be there, and drag your project window such that your hierarchy is at this place. It's not necessary. It's just for your convenience. I'm taking it. And okay, so this is basically what you can. Anything that you will do in project, which will be having like any script attached or anything like that. So anything in the script that you are editing, like any console login or any debug login, anything like printing statements or any error that you are getting, error related to game objects, anything like that will be shown over the console. So now we will go to the now what I will do is I will teach you something about package manager. So if you see over at the top, you will see some options like this. So there is a window named option. Uh, it has a list of options over here. So what you have to do is there will be option named package manager. So if you click on that and open it, then you will be able to see some list over here. So what these are actually they are some packages for your game. So if you are aware of what packages are in coding terminology, so these act as an extension for your existing project. So uh, like if Like if somebody has made a game and he has made some part like he has made some shooting like ability. So and you want the same shooting ability of this. So what he will do is he will upload that shooting ability part of his game over Unity and then and upload it as a package, and then you can install that package over into your game and use that within yours. So that was basically package manager does. So so in related to that, we will explore in that in our browser. So open your browser now and search for assetstore.unity.com, or just go to asset store and when you open that, you have to log in also. When you open that, you will be able to see there are multiple type of packages available, which Unity itself is providing to us. Like uh, uh, in the home screen, as you can see, there is some motion matching, polygon, UI toolkit, all those things are there, which are actually helpful for making your project. Like if someone is good at scripting part, he can skip the game designing part by downloading the assets available over here. Like if I search for a map, like if I don't want to create a map, I can just search in the Unity asset store, and then if I want it free, I will go to the pricing section and go click on the free assets, and I will be able to see multiple maps over here. So like anything that you can select, click over that, and then they will show you like uh, the basic map. Of, like what I have clicked here is the basic low poly map. If you know that what low poly is, it's good. Uh, so yes. So yeah. So what we can do is we can directly import a map into our game, and then we can work over other things related to Unity rather than in the game design or Blender part. Yeah, this is what the asset store helps us. And there are actually other websites also other than the asset store where you can find different assets for your game. This is the most like very much already provided by Unity website. Good. Okay. Now what we will do is we'll go to our scene again, and I will uh, I will basically create a player. So let us start. So in the hierarchy, as I've told, if you press on right click, you will get some options here. So like in our game terminology, when starting the game, if you want to create a player, we basically choose a capsule. So because the size of the capsule, I actually barely represent like a human. It doesn't, I know, but like in yeah, very basically, it can replicate the sizes or dimensions of a player. So we choose this as a player. What I will do is I will drag this player over to this thing. So what I will do is I will rename this as my base. So as a base or as a ground or something like that. So I will rename this as ground, and then I will teach you one more thing. If you right click over asset, this asset window, if you right click over here, you will see some options here. If you go to create, you will see many things which are like actually what is it in like here also. So you can basically create over assets also. So if you go to create, you will see a material option. So what this material does is I can create a material for different objects over here, and then I will attach that material over to any game object that I have. Like if this ground is there that I made, it is not looking like ground. I can make a material which replicates a material of grass, and then I will put it over the ground. So I will just name it as grass, and I in the and in here I will if you click over the grass or material, you will see multiple options which are actually related to that material. There is a shader option, and the shader option it's a bit more complex. So right now you don't have to know. So now what we will do is there is a main map over there. There is a color selecting option. So just select a color which replicates the color of grass. So I will select something like this. So this green, and I will increase the smoothness a bit and a metallic a bit. So the name says what they are. Like if you increase the metallic nature, it will be more of a metallic or more of a metal kind of texture. It will add to it, and the smoothness it will increase or decrease the smoothness. As you increase or decrease the smoothness, the reflectivity of that material increases. If you can see in here, it will show you the preview of what you are doing right now. So if you are increasing the smoothness, it will increase the reflectivity of it. If you increase the metallic nature, it will uh, it will increase the actual metallic nature. So I will decrease this and increase a bit of this. And what I will do is I will drag this over to my this ground and then place it. Just release that left. So what you are able to see is there is a place over here which shows a ground, and it this replicates the view of a ground. Now what you will do is I want to fill this ground over to my scene. If you are able to see the scene, the ground is not fully developed. So what I will do is I will increase the width of it so that it will fill the scene. I will just go to the you can just go to transform and scale it accordingly. Or what you can do is just go to this option, the second last option here, which is known as rect tool. Just click on it, and then you will see this four corners, four edges. Then there will be your cursor will be changed into this in this view, and then you can just drag it like this, and then it will be increased accordingly. Yeah, so this is much easier. Now what I will do is uh, I will change the direction light over here, such that it is not that much reflecting over the surface. That should be good. Hmm. So our player is floating. So what I will do is I will just click on the player and go to my transform and drag the Z axis or the Y axis is the height. So I will go a bit and look, and then I will put it in. So yeah, we'll work over it. Now. So I will rename the calcium, which is my player actually, as player. Now, if you go to the inspector again, you will see there are two things mentioned, which is tag and layer. So tag and layer are basically used while you are scripting in the game. Like like if during scripting you want to get a game object, you want to find a game object. You will not use the name over here, which I'm naming that player or ground. Because if I create another object, if I create an empty object, I can name it as player also. That will not be an issue. So if I want to create a tag, if I create a tag as a player, I can assign the tag to the player, and then using script in the script, if I want to find the reference or if I want to get the reference of the player, I will use the tag. I will use its tag name, which are listed here, or you can add your own tag. Like if I add something like layer one, and then you will go to your player and then select that player one over here. So you can use this tag while scripting. So when we will go to scripting part, you will know about it. And layer I will also come to it. Okay. So now I will tell you about one more component. Its name is uh, rigid body. Okay. Before this, I will start the game and show you what happens. So as you can see, nothing is happening. Everything is still. It's because there is no gravity over here. There is no rigid body mechanics over here, which we have already studied in our 10th, 9th, 11th, 12th. There is nothing like that working in here because none of our game objects has the property of rigid body. So now, for that reason, I will stop my game. These three buttons you can see in the top. These are for stopping and starting and pausing the game in between. So whenever you want to test your game, you will press on the play button. Whenever you press on play button in the game section, you will see your game playing. Okay. And this pause section is for pausing the game in between. Now I will add a component. Its name will be rigid body. So there will be two options: rigid body 2D and 3D. This is for 2D games and this is for 3D games. So we are making a 3D game. So I will uh, I will click on rigid body and this will import a rigid body component over my player. They like if I select on ground and again add component and then select for something other than this, it will add that component over the ground. So as here, it has added the component rigid body over method. So what rigid body component is like it has a mass, it has a drag component, it has a angular drag, it has all these options which is like which makes him which adds his ability to work as a work with the rigid body mechanics. So if I play on run, you will see it falling. Like see. So like yeah. So as you can see, it has it is replicating what naturally happens because now it has the rigid body mechanics. I will stop the game and then we will know more about it. There is an option known as use gravity, and it is a checklist that if I disable this, then the gravity part, which is the downward force of the gravity, will be disabled for this game. It will not be disabled for this game out. It will not be disabled for whole the game. It will be disabled just for this game out. So for now, I will be selecting this equal, and then I will change. I can change the mass from here. Depending on the mass, the acceleration and the force that are applied over this object will change accordingly. So yeah, so we have basically created our layer. So now what I'm doing is I can create one more material and name it as player material. Different color here. I will increase the material of that. Movements over it. There is an option you can see which is emission. Emission is like a torch or a spotlight kind of the lighting effect. If you want in your game object, then you can use emission. Like if you wanted to make a torch light, then also you can make use an emission. That it will emit the light. If I click on emission and select, there will be HDR option here. So, and if I select any color here and increase the intensity, so it will create a material which has a emission kind of emission kind of ability. Now I will drag it to my player, and now as you can see here, we have our player which is in red color material. So we are now for now we are creating our material in this way, but in actual game development, you will be creating your material basically in Blender and then importing over in the assets of like this asset section and then dragging over to your player. I am explaining you the basics of Unity. So for now, I am using these as correct. Okay. So what I will do is for fun, I will just keep it over top, and then what I will do is I will make a duplicate of this. If you press on command, if you click on this and hold Control D or press Control D, the duplicate will be made, and I will name it as obstacle. Yeah, and I will remove the player one tag from it. I will set it as untagged and change its position to somewhat down. I will change the scale of it also to be correct with this. Just for fun, uh, let us see what happens when they collide or how is the mechanics going. So yeah, I'm using basically this transform and this tools provided over here to move it and to scale it accordingly. I will change the material of I think, 5. Now let us see what happens. Both of them, and like you can see, both of these things. Okay, let us go through all these three things that we have in the scene. We have a ground over here, we have an obstacle over here, and we have a player over here. So what these three things are containing? The ground is not having any rigid body. It is having a box collider. That is why other things which are also having their own collider, like here you can see the player and the obstacle have a capsule collider. So the collision will be a capsule based here because the collision of a cube or any kind of mesh depends upon that mesh. So that collider has the name of that mesh only. As here the player is a capsule, the collider is a capsule collider. Now what I will do is and these two things are having the same and these two things are having the same thing which is rigid body. Due to rigid body, obstacle and player both are having a rigid body. Due to rigid body, they are having they are experiencing gravity and they are experiencing force and they have some certain mass. Now let us run and see what happens. As you can see, they are like basically replicating what happens naturally also. If you place something on top and then like place it over here, will add, like it will act in the same way. Uh, alright, I will stop the game over here and then as I have told about the rigid body, you know. Now what I will do is I will stop the use gravity and then let's see what happens. So the I have stopped the use gravity of the obstacle. As you can see, the obstacle has been selected and the use gravity of obstacle is disabled. So what has happened is it has collided with that object and it has the momentum after the collision that we already know as we have studied that after collision you lose or you gain some momentum from from the other collider. So it gained that and then due to not having a gravity or it is like it is moving in constant velocity in the direction of the momentum. But the player that we are having has a gravity. That is why it's fallen over the sun. Okay, this was basically what rigid body is. Now, now, for fun, I will add a 3D cube over here, and I will remove these two things. For removing or for disabling or enabling, you can just of the tab. If you disable that checkbox or enable, it will like disable that game object in the scene. Like if I disable this, it will disable the game object in the scene. And if you want to re-enable, you can again click on the checkbox for re-enable. Now I created a cube over here. I will just color it as same as this layer material, and I will transform it to somewhat like here. Now you can see there's a box collider name because the cube is a box, so its collider name is a box collider. And now, if you one more tool I want to tell. If you click over any of the game object, and if you click over the cube and press on F, it will focus over to that cube. So now what we'll do is we will add a rigid body over here. So I've added a rigid body which is having gravity also. If I run this, then the cube, as we know, the cube will fall. Now, what I want to do is make multiple cubes over here and change their position a bit. And let us see how is the collision experience. So some objects are top on other objects. So if so, it is possible that they will collide because due to gravity. So I will place it over. I will place this also over here. So this is just for like getting some experience over here. So if you do this kind of thing, you will get some hands-on experience so that you can predict in the game what can happen. So these things are necessary to get experience. Now coming to main camera, if I click on the main camera here, this also has the same transform and a camera component over it. There is also audio listener component. We'll come to that later. The camera component is responsible for showing the camera in the game. So if I create any other game object over here and name it as something like temp cam, temporary cam, and I will click on add component and search for camera. So it will add a camera object over here, and you can see in the game view, the camera has been shifted to that other camera which I have created over here. And you can know what the camera is seeing by viewing over this scene manager and then checking what is the outline of the camera view. This is the FOV. FOV is field of view. Field of view is until what range it can see. If I increase the and decrease the FOV, it will change the conical angle of this. So if I decrease the FOV, it will change the view to a certain less range. If I increase the FOV, it will increase the range for viewing. So if I will disable this for now and go to my main camera here. So we can see that now we are able to see our main camera view. And in the camera section, there are multiple options here. So first is the clear plan. So if the clear plan determines what is the background of your scene. It is for now it is a sky box, so it is showing the sky scene over here. If I change it to a solid color, the background will be changed to a solid, as you can see. And I can change the color of that. So what I will do is I'll just make it as white, and yeah, and this is the FOV which I already told. So FOV will change the field of view. So I will put it like this, and then there is a uh, there is a projection option here, which has two options. This is orthographic and perspective. So if I click on orthographic, it will show the projection of this with respect to the axis score. Like it will show the planar, it will show the planar, it will show the planar projection of this. Like if you are a college student, like you may have studied, just a second. So if I click on the, there will be two options over here. Sorry for the, so one is perspective, one is orthographic. So if I click on the orthographic projection, it will show the orthographic view of this. If somebody don't know what orthographic or normal projection is, and I will search over here and show you the image. So if a view is like this, it's what we call as isometric. It as this, and then the orthographic view will be the projection along the 2D axis of it, which can be XY, XZ, or ZY. Like we are able to see it here. If I'm if I'm totally viewing at a certain from a certain axis, I can view it as orthographic views, which are basically the projection over a certain plane. So, like while making a 2D game, you will often use orthographic projection instead of normal projection, because orthographic projection shows a 2D view of what a 3D scene. I will change back to perspective so that I that it can be 3D. Now, if I run this, then many cubes will collide over each other. It will be like will act as a rigid one. What I will do now is I will disable these things. Now cube also. Now again I will switch back my player and turn it on, and I will place it on the ground. And what we are now what we'll do is we'll add some movement to this player. And I'll change the main camera of this. I will change the direction type. Fair enough. So now let us go to scripting part. Now what I did is I clicked on the player, and then I clicked on add component, and then uh, I will type what the script I want to make. So let us now do that. What I will do is I will go to my asset, and then right click over it, and then create, and then on the second option you will see a C# script. So click over the C sharp script. Then you will be asked to rename the script. I will add it as something player movement and click. So it will generate a script over here. What I will do is I will click on my player again and then drag this thing over this add component buttons or over this inspector window. So it will add this script thing which I have created here into the inspector of the player. So now what happened is this script is now part of the is part as a is acting as a component for the player. And now whatever I will make over here, so will work over the player. So if like I make some movement kind of script, so and use that, then the player will be affected according to it. Now let us go to it. If you double click over it, so it will open in the editor that you have installed. When you open it, you will be able to see some things already written. So, like if you are already familiar with programming, you may be knowing what this is doing. So if this section is including all the your libraries, like in programming, we divide certain assets like as we use in Unity, the assets act as a pre-made game object. So in programming, the libraries which are here listed acts as pre-made programs which you can use for as an asset for programming. The programming will be like in C++, many of you has done. So you use import IO stream or like import stdio. So that acts as a import you are importing a library which is like which has the ability for like printing statement. So what we have here is uh, what we have here is we have a public class. We have certain imports over here. So these imports you don't have to know in depth right now. So these imports are necessary for Unity, and this public class is there. So it is a class. If you know a bit more about it, it's a like class is an object which like which is different in the different libraries or different programs. You can distribute your code blocks in different classes. So this is what one class is, and if this class is public, so if it is public, then it can be accessed with other codes also. If you make some other codes and want to use it and don't want your class to be visible to that code, you have to make it private. Generally, we take it as public so that other code we can also use the same functions applied in this class in the other. Now coming to this void start and void update. So these two are functions already predefined in the Unity engine. So what I will do is if I remove this Unity engine, so it will not be able to detect the mono behavior, which is the parent of this player movement class. So mono behavior contains all the skills related to update, start, or anything in the Unity. Any component related to Unity is defined under the mono behavior, which is imported using the Unity engine. Now we will see what void start is. So what void start is let this is a function. This is a function name, and this is void. So because it is not returning anything, and this is private. If I make it as public, I have to write public over here, and then this function will can be accessed with other scripts also. If I make it as private, then this function will not be able to access with other C sharp scripts. So if I'm not writing anything, that will be considered as a private function. Also. Now, what is update and start? So in a game, let us search for one thing: frame rate in game. So As you can see here, in a game, there is some FPS kind of thing. So it tells at what frames a game is running. Like FPS defines, like if I'm having 60 FPS, that means that the game is rendering 60 images per second. Yeah. So what this is like for start of the frame or for start of the program or for start of the game object, this function will be called. As the name suggests here, start, it will be called once only in the start of the game. Now, this is void update. So, what update is whatever I will write in this, like I will write like debug log. It is like a print statement. So, this is the syntax of it, and I will write it in the update section. First, then uh, then we will see what is the use of update. If let us test this. What I did is I just wrote a debug.log, which is a print statement. It prints in your terminal or in your console. Uh, is this string? This is a string variable, as it is in double quotes, and this will let's see what is the use of update by writing this. I will open the console window, and uh, I should be able to see the uh, hello world. Yeah. If I run this, what I'm saying is there are multiple hello world, like there are numerous hello world calling every second. So what this means is actually what update does is whatever you write in the function will be called every frame that renders. So every frame that renders in your computer will be called. So now what we will do is uh, there is one more thing known as fixed update. I will write it as word fixed update. So what this does is like every what fixed update means is every time the physics of your game changes, like a push, something happens. If the game is not still or some a movement or some kinematic or dynamic movement is happening, that and every frame of that movement will be it will call that function inside the fixed update. So we will see that later. First, like there is an autocomplete code that I written in, that has been written in. So we'll go through it now. Uh, like I will remove this part here and tell you what this is for. So like I have made a if statement. So there is a there is a method over here which will take input, which is known as input, and uh, this method has a this method has a dot get key. Uh, it what it actually does is it takes the input from your keyboard. If you write input dot get key, and then you will write the key code over here like WASD. So it will check if the input has been done with the keyboard or not. So if I press on W, then this statement will return a true. So every time, like if I write it here, I will comment it, and what I will do is I will just I will just write a statement name as which has a data type. as input dot as a boolean, and what it will do is sorry for this. What it will do is if the input dot get key down W I press, and like if I run this game and then press on W, the bool input check will become true. Otherwise, it will be false. So I don't need to run this game again and again. So it is understandable. So now let us see this code over there. So if this is true, like if I'm pressing over W, so this thing is becoming true. And if this is true, then we are having certain things going over here. So what this is like if I rewrite it here, so it is a transform. So transform is a this transform is a function given through Unity engine. So through this we can access the transform, the exact transform that is given over here of that game object that over which this script has been assigned to. So if I'm writing transform, so I will be able to access the transform of that game object. So if I write dot over here, so I will be able to see all the things in the transform that can be changed, accessed, or edited or deleted. So there is an option named as rotate. There is an option named as look at. There is an option local scale. All these things will enable me to change the transform properties of that layer. So what here I selected is transform dot position. So if you write transform dot position, so you will be able to access this position part of the layer. So here is a position. Here you can see in the transform there is a position vector. It's actually a vector, vector 3. So this way, if you are able to access this in your code, then through your code you can change the value of these things and enable your player to move accordingly. So what I will do here is what I did is here, if this thing is calling this block of statement every frame. So every frame it is checking if you have pressed W or not. And if you have pressed W, then this syntax will run. This syntax is checking that if transform dot position has this syntax is doing what transform dot it is taking the transform dot position of the game object over which this script has been attached to, and it is adding it is, as we know something like this plus equals to operator, like if I'm writing int a equals to, and then I'm writing a plus equals to 2, that means that a equals a plus 2. So yeah, this is basic thing that you may be knowing. So it is incrementing its a value by a vector 3 variable. So you may be knowing a variable's name as int bool, which stores boolean value, int store the int value and has some range of 2 to the power minus 31 minus 1 something, and some float. uh, these type of variables you would have these are the some common variables like string also. All these things we would have seen. So here what we have is a vector. So this is not exactly that vector which, like, if you are experienced with C++, then you may have known about vector, which is a dynamic array. But this is also a dynamic array, but it is constrained only three elements. Like actually you can add max and add min. You can store only three values over this vector. So if I write like if I declare a new variable here with vector 3, and if I rename it as position and make it as new vector 3, it auto-completed as system numerics vector 3 because there are multiple possible vector 3s over here. So 0, comma 0, comma 0. So what this is doing is, so what this is doing is actually is uh, there is a problem over here. The problem is that it will sometimes show to you also. The problem is that the vector 3 is a variable which is available in Unity engine also and in system numerics also. So here we have important system numerics and Unity engine. Both of these contain a vector 3 named data type. So if I remove one of this, that is why I'm importing both of this. So the console is not able to detect that what very like what data type I am referencing to. So here I'm referencing to Unity engine. So I will remove this thing here. So the ambiguity will be removed. Now I will remove it from here. Now the data type I'm using, the console will be able to detect that it is only from a Unity engine and not from any other library. So sometime it will happen to you. So you can do is what you can do is instead of removing the system numerics, because this is something useful like when we are working with numbers or random integers, anything like that. So we need system numerics library. So what you can do is you can refer as Unity you can tell the editor that I'm using Unity editors vector 3. So using like that. So I will first remove it from here. Not talking much about that. So this position that vector I am currently having is a vector 3 variable here, and it stores three values which are basically the your XYZ coordinates. So here what is happening is float value of zero point 0.1 into the Z axis over here. So every time when I'm pressing on W, it will increment the value of zero point 0.1 into the z-axis of transform position. If I run this, as you can see, this was very fast. So what I will do is I will decrease the value for much greater, and then we will see what happens. So what you have to do is every time you write a code, you have to save it, control S, and then go again to your Unity editor and press on play. Now I will press on W again. So if I'm pressing on W, you can see it moving. It's moving slowly as I have decreased the value to be increased per frame when I'm holding W. If I want to prove you that I'm holding a W, so I will debug.log. I will print that debug.log debug.log W was pressed. Okay. So yeah. Hmm. So okay. So now what we will do is we'll press on play. Every time I press on W, you will see for debug.log showing W was pressed. Okay, and and if I replicate this for every other buttons over here, like if I like basically we move in four directions, so we will have W, A, S, and D. So for W is for forward moving, so A, so S is for the backward moving. Sorry for the waiting. Hmm. So I have replicated this for other keys here. So if you press on S, then it will go in negative direction on the same transform. If I press on A, it should not move on the Z axis. So it should move over your X axis, and for key code .d, it should move over your negative of X axis. Why I'm writing F here? If you want to represent any float value, you have to write F with that. So okay. So for D, you have to remove this, and yeah. So I will remove all the debug here. Now let us check what happens. Now what I will do is, I don't want my player to fall every time, as it is due to gravity, it is falling. So what I will do is, I will go to my rigid body of the player, and there is an option named as constraints. So in constraints, you have the ability to freeze your position and rotation in the certain axis that you want. Like there is a freeze option in X, Y, and Z, and a freeze option in your rotation of X and Y and Z directions. So what I will do is, I will freeze my position in my uh, so what I'm experiencing here is, when I'm running the game, as you can see, when I run the game, what is happening here is, the object is falling. So I don't want my object to rotate right now. So what I will do is, I will go to my player, and in rigid body, I will freeze the rotation in all the three directions. So what this will do is it will enable me to forcefully freeze the rotation, even if I'm doing anything, or even if it is colliding with anything, it will not allow the rotation to be changed. So now if I press on play, you can see the rotation is, there will be no change in the rotation right now. Now if I Now what I will do is, I will use my WASD and change the movement, and now you can see that according to my given statements, I'm able to move my player. I will again go to my script here, and I will increase the value to this. What we can do is, we can, inside the class, I can make a global variable. So I can make a global variable here. I can name it as speed, and give it some and give this variable as a public. So if this is a public variable, then what happens is, I can access this through Unity. If it is a private variable, then I will not be able to see this value in the Unity ID. Let us see what is happening. If I am switching it as a public variable, public int speed, and initializing it as a 0, then if I go to my Unity editor again, then in the script part of script component, you can see there will be option named as speed, which is actually referencing to your this speed variable here. If I change the value of speed over here, it will change the value of the speed. So what I will do is, I will go to my script here. I will copy the script speed here, and then I will multiply the speed. Like I can multi-select this, and just a second, and then I will multiply speed to all of this. So what this will do is, depending on my speed value, it will change the incrementation speed of all the position. Initially, what I will be taking as, I will be taking speed as 1. So I will go to my player movement and go to press on speed, and then if I run this,
the motion is same. And what Unity enables us to do is we can change the value of the speed variable within running while running the game. So if I change it to 5, then and then move it, then you can see that it is moving. The movement speed is increased. This enables us to like check what the exact values we require, uh, and what are the optimized value we can use. So we have pretty much did the basic movement part of here. So yeah, so basic movement has been done, and we will look into what are the forces and how to deal with the different forces and interaction with objects and different things. So one thing we can do, one last thing, what I will do today is we'll see what collision is, and then we can continue that in our next two sessions. So now let us see what collision is and how collision works through script. So what I want is I want to detect that if I'm making some object over here and creating a 3D object, and name like a sphere, and changing its size a bit. So uh, I will change the size of the sphere to somewhat small, and positioning it at the top of the player. So now we can see, you can check the exact values if you go to your perspective. If you go to orthographic view, you can check exactly how is it planned, like this way. You can go through every axis, and you can like place it accordingly, or I should say precisely. Just use this option will be there. There is a this option will change your scene view into orthographic and perspective. If you change it to perspective, it will be shown in the planar view, like a 2D view, so that you can place your objects in a more precise manner. What I'm doing it here right now. So through this, I was able to precisely place my ball over top of the player. So what I want to do is this player, I will add it as a I, I will add a new tag over here and name it as a ball. Okay. So this player, I will attach the ball named tag over to the sphere. And then what I will do is I will attach a rigid body also to the ball so that it can interact with different objects. So okay. So what is happening here is this is already simulating. You know why? Because the game is already running. If I stop the game, everything will get reset. See, every of the thing that I've done till now while the game was running will be reset if I stop the game, so that because I can do multiple things while running the game except changing the bare script part. Except changing the bare script part, I can change anything within the game so that I can check what is suitable while playing the game. Wha- Hmm. So now I have stopped the game, and what I want is I will go to player again, and I will add a I will do the same thing. I will just add a uh, sphere over here and add it to the top of the player. Go to perspective to see is it precise or not. Change the sphere scale somewhat small and add a tag to it. So the tag has also been removed. So I have to create the tag again, ball, and go to sphere again and then add the tag as a ball. So now what we'll do is we will add a rigid body also. So I will added the rigid body also. So now what will happen is when I run the game, the ball will collide over to my player and then fall away. So what I want through my script is I want to detect whether the ball has collided over me or not. So let us assume that the ball is a bomb here. So if this bomb has collided over me, then what we have to do is we have to destroy the our player. So let us make the script for that. So what I will do is, Unity provides a function which is named as, okay, we forgot to see what happens when I set it as a private. So if I set it as a private, then you will lose the reference of the speed from your editor. So in editor, it will not be shown. If I click on the player again and go to my player movement script, you will not be able to see your player variable as you have set it as a private. Or if you don't set it as a private or public anything, if you don't write it like that, then also it will be considered as a private only. So there is one more option which is called a serializable field, which will look in which we will look afterwards. So I will set it as a public variable over here, and like and now you can see that it is visible over here. I will set it as 5 something, and now we'll see what it is, what the function is. So Unity provides the function name on collision enter on collision enter. So this is the function that Unity provides, which is void on collision enter. So this function will be called every time this player that we are having, or game object that we are having, over which this script has been attached to. So I will place it a bit top, and yeah. So every time anything, any rigid body or any colliding object which is which will collide to our player, will then this function will run. So let us see. So what for now, what I will do is I will debug.log and do collision. And what I will do is what this argument this it is taking is, it will be like whenever this is being called, so it will take the reference of the collision, and this name will be other. So what is happening is, if I want to know what is other here, so other is the game object which is collided to our body. So to get the game object reference here, what I will do is I will go to other, I will write other here. Other is the same game object which has collided to our body. So I will add other dot, I will get the game object component over it, or from here, so that I can access the inspector of that object. So I will add the game object, other dot game object dot, and now I can access different things of that game object. Like here it will be sphere, because sphere will be colliding to our player. So what I will do is I will add a if condition. If other dot game object dot tag, so it will get the tag of the object that we have made. We have set it as a ball. So if this is a ball, if something which is colliding to our player is has a tag named ball, so do what, do a debug.log named as collision, or uh, I will format it, name as collided with ball. So let us see what happens. So in console, you can see there is something like build asset version error, or some warnings will be shown. So this is what the console is used for. I will clear it and I will run the game. So when the object is collided over to it, so this collided with ball will be this collision will be done. And see, we can see the collision with ball as an output here. If I place it over somewhat more top or more above this, then when it will be collided, then you will be able to see that this function has run. So what we have to do is we have to disable our game object when this is called, when this is collided. So what I will do is, instead of debug logging here, I will use a destroy function provided by Unity, destroy, and this takes argument as the game object which has to be destroyed. So here what I want to destroy is I want to self-destroy now. Like this destroy is being called in the game object, it has to be destroyed. So I will just write game object over here. So what it is, if I'm writing game object only, like if I'm writing game object here, not capital G, small g. So this is taking the reference of the same object that the component is attached to. So if I'm writing like something like debug.log, debug.log, and I'm just writing small game object, like the G is small and dot tag. So what this will do is this will print my the game object, the it will print the tag of the game object over which this script is attached to. That is why uh, so yeah, so this is attached to. So I will call this destroyer function on the self, like on the game object. So let us see what happens. I will go to Unity again, and then I will hit on play, and if the ball collide with me, my game object will get destroyed, as you can see here. Okay, so we have pretty much did what we wanted to do today. So today was a very basic lecture over basics of Unity. From tomorrow, we will start making a like a first person shooter game, which will include different things like enemy AI, which will include motion of your first person motion of your camera, and which will include different player movements like jumping and like different fast movement, and which will include shooting also. So all of this we will be doing from in the next two sessions. So today, yeah, that was basically it for today. So if you have any queries, you can ask in the group directly, and you can what you can do is, for now, if you want to practice more over Unity or know more of the Unity, you can go to a YouTube channel named Brackies. So his video explanation is also very good. You can go to his playlist and of getting started with Unity, search about that, and there will the playlist will have like 9 to 10 videos. You can watch those videos, and then you can practice more about Unity and get to know more in Unity. And we'll meet on Friday there, and then we will start working on our third person shooter, like first person shooter game. In 2 days we'll be finishing that. So okay, so that's it. Thank you for joining. We will be stopping the meet now.